City. Good morning, everyone. Or good afternoon. I think it's afternoon. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this very important recognition of the history of our neighborhood, the history of our city, and the history of competitive boxing, all wrapped into one here on this very corner. As someone who was baptized at St. Teresa's and whose father proudly ran the circuit here in the 60s and 70s, it is a distinct honor and privilege to be here to recognize the great arena that folks knew and loved as Sunnyside Garden. And today we have a Wendy's, but we want everybody to know, those folks who were here while we had this arena, and those folks who maybe are new to the neighborhood and would never know that something so important was here, that important people started their careers here, that brave men fought here, and that a president, John F. Kennedy, was also here. So I want to thank Bob Duffy and the members of Ring 8 for remembering and for making sure that we all remember not only the building that was here, but the men who fought here, some of whom are still with us, many of whom have passed away, but all of them, their courage, their talent, their tenacity, their fearlessness should be recognized and are recognized all the time by the members of Ring 8. And today, by unveiling this street sign, in addition to the commemorative plaque that was unveiled a couple of years ago when we were all here, we further remind everyone of how special this place is and the hallowed ground that we all are on. So let's give a big round of applause to Bob Duffy and all the members of Ring 8. John Edibles, a historian and fan who's really helped push this along, working with my office. I want to thank him as well, and I want to recognize some of the folks who are with us. Lenore Lanzalotti, some folks know from our neighborhood and comes from a very prominent family in our neighborhood. But what I did not know about her is that she performed on a roller derby team in Sunnyside Garden Arena.
Yay! I don't have my skates.
And I asked her if she had brought her skates. We could all roller skate around the parking lot in the drive-thru. But I want to recognize her. Don McCallion, who is an amazing leader and of the United 40 Civic and does so many things for our community. I want to recognize Don McCallion. And I asked him if he had ever fought here. And he stole my joke because I said this the last time we were here. My father fought a lot of battles here on this corner, but never inside the arena. And Don apparently...
He didn't ask me about the next month. I thought it was on the next month.
Fair enough, fair enough. So I want to recognize him. Bob Duffy will speak in a few moments. San Vargas, a great member of our community representing State Assemblywoman Kathy Nolan. I want to recognize San Vargas here and so many others who mean so much to Sunnyside, Woodside, and the City of New York. I do want to recognize that Joe Conley, the chair of our community board, who himself has such a great interest in this and was helpful to us, couldn't be here today because some folks know Dolores Risotto, who was the district manager of our community board before retiring, passed away this week, and Joe is there today, as he should be. But I want to recognize Joe Connolly and his efforts. So let's give him a big round of applause. As I'm going to introduce him. I'm sorry. Holding the last. So, and we're also thrilled, and I have to say the last time we were here doing this, I got a special thrill of meeting someone who sometimes we hear and know the voice, but getting to meet him is an extra special joy. We have the Brooklyn Nets, which is a great thing for the city, and they're a pretty good team. But one of the most fun parts of that is the voice of the new Barclays Center is Dave Diamante, and he is here with us to grace us with his voice and his passion for Ring 8 and for Sunnyside Garden Arena. So I want to recognize him as well, and he's going to say a few words as we proceed with the program. But again, thank you all for being here. I'm a big believer in history, remembering, taking time to think about all of the folks who came before us, because we get to live in this great community, but so many folks came before us, and they made it great. All of the brave men and women who took part in sport here deserve to be recognized and remembered as well. So with that, I want to call up our first speaker, aptly, the voice of the Barclays Center, and an amazingly talented man. Everyone, please welcome Dave Diamante. Thank
you. Jimmy, thank you so much. Everyone, welcome today here at 45th and Queens Boulevard for the unveiling of Sunnyside Garden Way. Jimmy made a lot of great points. A lot of men spilled blood for this plot of land. Some of them are still with us, some of them not. Guys like Bobby Bartels, guys like Lenny Mangiapane, guys like Troy Patterson, Tony Canzaneri, Ruby Goldstein, Al Singer, Tony Reno, many men, many fights. And Sunnyside Garden was a very special place because it really served as the minor league to places like Madison Square Garden and the major arenas of the day. This was more of a neighborhood spot, and that's what Jimmy was saying about the neighborhood. This was really a neighborhood spot, neighborhood guys, and this is where they cut their teeth, right here on this plot of land. And this arena opened to the public in 45. They started doing boxing in 47. It ran for a good 30 years. A lot of history here. Gentleman Irish Bobby Cassidy, he's one of the names. I saved him for last because he fought the most here, 8 times. So with that being said, I'm very happy that gentlemen like Bob Duffy from Ring 8, John Ediballs from Ring 8 were able to get the plaque put here 2 years ago, and now today to finally get the street renamed Sunnyside Garden Way. It's a big honor, and it's a big honor to be here and to be part of that. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce the president of Ring 8, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bob Duffy.
Thank you very much, and you know, I want to thank the majority leader, Jimmy Van Bramer, for putting the final touches on a great legacy like Sunnyside Garden. And I personally want to thank you. The dream started 5 years ago with John Ediballs and Ring 8. We got the dream done. Now the conclusion of the dream is the street sign, and I want to thank the majority leader for his great work and the staff in making this possible. Ring 8, Sunnyside Gardens meant a lot to me. After I got served my country, I grew up in Sunnyside in 1970. I lived here for 7 years, and me and my wife were staples at the old garden itself. And Peter King, who I'm associated with, lives on 43rd Street. Both really speaks about Sunnyside Gardens. And the funny thing is that if you wanted to see the fighters firsthand, you could have came to the arena, but everybody grabbed them. All you had to do was go to White Castle. because everybody went to White Castle after the fight. And I just want to thank everybody for remembering. It wasn't just boxers, amateur and pro. It was everybody who participated in Sunnyside Garden. That's what made it a staple. It was built in '45, right after the war, and it gave people opportunities. It made businesses thrive more. So it's not just a monument for an arena that had boxing in it. It was an arena that stabilized and was a staple of the community in many sports. And I want to thank everybody for coming. And again, I want to thank the majority of Jimmy for getting it done. Him and his staff were super. John Edibles, he was a force in it. And again, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. I just want to make sure I recognize all the VIPs behind me, and because he was standing right behind me, I missed him, but the mayor of Long Island City is a great, terrific man who cares deeply about all of our communities, particularly Long Island City, but I'm grateful that he's here today. So everyone please welcome Frank Corrado as well. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we said, one of the people that were very instrumental in not only getting the memorial done, but also getting the street renamed, and which is why we're here today, is a local historian. He's also a member of Ring 8. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. John Edibles.
Good afternoon. We welcome our local officials, neighbors, and Ring 8 members who are present here today. We have this intersection of 45th and Queens Boulevard, codenamed the Sunnyside Garden Arena Way, in memory of our old Sunnyside Garden Arena that once stood here from 45 to 77. Today we have some of you that came to these halls of the Sunnyside Garden Arena for boxing, the roller derby, wrestling, and dances. Some of you today here are Ring 8 members. Anybody here, raise your hand that is Ring 8 members. And others, we also have a lady, Leonore, raise your hand. Okay. She was, as we said before, she was part of the New York Chiefs in the roller derby. John F. Kennedy did his campaigning here in 1960, right over here in front. And in 1951, we had a movie that was filmed here in the garden, Mr. Universe. It was filmed with Vince Edwards, Burt Lahr, Robert Alda, about Primo Canero's career as a boxer turned pro wrestler. The garden had wrestling matches like Haystack's Calhoun. He wore a horseshoe necklace and weighed nearly 600 pounds. The Sunnyside Gardens was, as we had mentioned before, the minor leagues for fighters who made their steps, climbed up to the majors of Madison Square Garden. And this was quoted by Bill Gallo of the Daily News when he was writing about the fights. And world champion Emil Griffith started here in the Golden Gloves. He passed away last year, was one of our members of Ring 8. And Jerry Cooney had his first pro fight here in 1977. Sunnyside Gardens Arena was a vital part of the local Sunnyside community in those years. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Bob, Frank. Thank you all for coming out. Now, before we unveil the street, there's a tradition that we have in boxing, and that is if we lose one of our own, we do what's called a 10 count. So if you could please remain silent this time, as we toll the bell 10 for all the boxers, amateur and pro, all the wrestlers, amateur and pro, all the roller derbies, and everyone who supported Sunnyside Gardens, participated in Sunnyside Garden, and for Sunnyside Garden itself.
After all, I think it's only proper that Lenora does the 10 count. After all, she actually participated in Sunnyside Garden. Thank you.
Ready? Here we go.
3.